Hey everyone, I'm Purge and welcome to another anime update. Before we get started, I will mention, before I actually forget, I will mention that in the description of every one of these videos is a link to my analyst account, so um, use that if you want to follow me on there, message me, that kind of thing. Anyway, before we get started with what I've been watching, what I've actually finished, I thought I would go over a change to my custom list that I've made. And the custom list is this one, the up next one. So, oh, and you might have noticed a little an anime disappear from my watching because I literally, in fact, if I go back to my profile, I literally just finished Midori Days, uh, like 12 minutes ago before I actually started recording this video. So anyway, I thought we'd go over firstly a change to this custom list right here up next. Now, before this change, I was simply just adding stuff to it I kind of wanted to watch. I'd watch one and then maybe add another one to it and then watch another one and then maybe add two more to it. That was fine. It's just that I noticed that a couple of the anime that I had on this list would be on there for a while. In fact, the perfect example of this, and this is actually what prompted this change, was When They Cry. Now, I've actually had When They Cry on up next um, on here since last week, since like last update. They mentioned it last update. Now, that's simply because it just hasn't been picked. So what I do, I always kind of randomly pick from this list. And then since last week, I've put anime on like up next, and then I've chosen it. And When They Cry just simply didn't get chosen, so it's been on my up next list for a week, even though it's meant to be a list of the anime I'm watching very soon. So really, it's it seemed kind of silly to me to have um, stuff on here for an extended period of time because that's not what this list is for. And for all I know, it could, if I kept on adding anime to it, it would just never get picked. Now, of course, I can actively pick it, but that's not to stop like another anime happening with other anime down the line. So anyway, what I had to do is make a change to how the up next list works. Now, as you can see, I've got 5 anime here. Now, again, I'm not going to have any more than 5. The maximum on this list is 5. But here's the change. When I actually start picking from this list again, I'll do a random pick from this list. But when I have watched anime from this list, I will then, so it goes down to 4. I will then like pick again from this list and then watch that one, and then it will go to 3, and then pick again, and etc. I won't add any more to the list until all 5 of the anime already on here are finished. That way, every anime that I've actually got on here at any one time are all going to be watched without being on here for an extended period of time. So that's what's going to happen now. So in future, from now on, I'm going to just stick to the anime that's on here already. Now, once I've actually cleared the up next list of 5 anime, I'll only then and only then will I pick another 5 and rinse and repeat. So that's how it's going to work from now on. Anyway, I hope that made all. I hope all made sense, but it just means that every time I put 5 anime on here, they'll all be watched in a timely fashion. That's all it means. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. Anyway, let's get to what I've actually completed like this week. I've got to last update again. Anyway, so this week we started off. I actually finished. I actually started and finished Tomodachi Game. Now, Tomodachi Game is an anime about a group of high school friends who get abducted and asked to play this series of games because it turns out one of their group has a 20 million yen debt, and they're basically told that if they play the game, they can reduce the debt to nothing for that person. So they all agreed to it, but little did they know that all of the games are kind of designed to incentivize having a traitor in the group, and in so doing, really test their friendship to the breaking point. It was it was actually really good. It was really well written, really character driven. I liked the intricacies of how the games played out. It was just a really good anime, and it's a shame it never got a season two because it ended clearly with a season two in mind. But very good Tomodachi game, very good indeed. Now this one, let's see if we can do this name, shall we? Dekakute Echi no Ori no Ani? No Ori no Ani? With okay, one more time. Dekakute Echi no Na Ori no Ani. Anyway, that's let's stop trying to pronounce it anyway. This is a very sort of cultural anime, so I probably won't be speaking about it, but um I would say what apparently the English title actually is, but I'm probably not going to be able to say it. I don't want to. Um, you can look that up. But the main tag, if you know what I mean, the main tag of this is it wasn't really my cup of tea, not really my thing. So yeah, it was fine, but not really my thing. Anyway, moving on. Then I started and finished recommendation number 16. As always, I randomly picked it from my recommended to me list, and it's called Kamikatsu Working for God in a Godless World. Now, this is an isekai. Now, for those unfamiliar, isekai is a very popular genre of anime where essentially the story rolls around the main character or a group of characters being transported in some way to another world, and then they kind of have to learn what the world is all about and learn how to live in it. It's a very, very popular genre. Some people might say overdone at this point, but yeah. Um, in it, the main character, his father was a cult leader, and his entire life was spent being essentially taken advantage of, and like for the sake of rituals. And then in the end, he actually, and this is not a spoiler by the way. This is like the start of the first episode. He gets put into a barrel and then thrown into the ocean, and then seemingly dies, and then wakes up in another world. But it turns out that the world has no concept of religion or gods at all, and that becomes a very important plot point um, as the story goes on. I gotta be honest, it's good. It's well animated. There's actually some good battles in it. There's superpowers shown off. There's some really interesting original concepts that I haven't really seen, especially in the isekai before. I liked it. Kamikatsu, I recommend it. It's good. And then we move on to Undead Unluck. Yes, I finally finished Undead Unluck. And the reason it took me so long, let's say how long it took me. Yeah, I started it on the 23rd of March and finished it on the 22nd of May. Now, it took me so long, as I mentioned before. I just thought I'd check out what the dub was like. And I liked the dub so much, I decided to just wait for the episodes, for all of the dubbed episodes to release, and I would watch one every now and again because I didn't want to catch up to the dub episodes and not being able to watch them. So finally, all the dub episodes came out, and I finished it. And I have to be honest, it's really, really good. It's like the premise, briefly, because again, I'm very conscious about spoiling anything for anybody that potentially like, watches videos and wants to watch the anime that I watch. But essentially, this girl, in the first episode, this girl who has this power of terrible bad luck. If somebody touches her skin, they get bad luck. She meets this guy, Andy, who actually cannot die, and because of that, they form this kind of relationship based on this kind of mutual interest, which I won't go into because that's probably one of the main plot. Well, it is one of the main plot points of the story, but it's way more than that. There's it goes much further than that. Like there's really really good animation. The characters are good. Like there's some really really well done battles. And again, really original. Every time they came up with a kind of like a plot point or story idea, I thought, wow, this is really unique. Yeah, Undead Unluck is really really good, and I would recommend it to everyone. I'm really really hoping for a season 2. Lastly, I started and finished Midori Days. Now, Midori Days is essentially a high school romance anime with comedy thrown in for good measure. However, the premise is a little ridiculous. The main character, Seiji, he's kind of like a delinquent. He fights a lot, and then but he also wants a girlfriend really really badly, and he's already been turned down by 20 girls previously. And then one day he wakes up and finds that um, his right hand has turned into a girl, her, Midori. And it also turns out that Midori's had a crush on him for the last 3 years. And that's the premise. Kind of ridiculous, I know, but I gotta be honest, it works. It worked like really quite well. It's fun. It's light-hearted for the most part. It's a bit of an old anime now. I think it's from 2006, but it really holds up well. Um, the animation is fine. Again, the characters are actually interesting and investable, and um, there's like kind of cute moments. There's like sort of funny moments. It's just a good, a good romance anime. Yeah, I'd recommend Midori Days as well. So that's everything I finished this week. Let's go to what I've been watching, um, which now is a bit of a short list because again I did have Midori Days on here until about let's face it, 15 minutes ago, but now it's obviously done. I did watch one more episode of since last week. I've watched one more episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, I'm being really slow with it, and like, one of the reasons for that is I mentioned this before, but one of the reasons for that is actually I'm in an arc, I guess you'd call it now, called Enter the Shadow Realm, which is apparently all filler. And even though it's interesting, it's not actually forwarding, it's not progressing the plot, not progressing the main story. So it's a, it's a little I kind of keep on finding it a little bit irrelevant. But what I'm going to try and do this week, what I'm going to try and do is watch two episodes a day, and hopefully like get it done in timely fashion because I've been watching this for a long time, Yu-Gi-Oh. So that's my plan from now on. Yeah, this week I've only watched like one episode, but I'm gonna try from now on, and I'm gonna endeavor to watch 2 episodes a day and see how that goes. Okay, that's what I've been watching. Up next, editions. Let's do it now. I won't mention When They Cry because I mentioned that last week because it was actually on my up next. It's been on my up next for a week now, which is why obviously I did the change to how the up next works in the first place. So we have Seven Mortal Sins. It's apparently, from what I know about it, about Lucifer, the fallen angel. I believe that's her in the middle right there. She she gets her powers taken away by the seven deadly sins, the seven kind of demon kings, and she has to battle them. And that's basically what I know about it. It is an ecchi, so take from that what you will. Um, and we have recommendation number 17, again picked from my list at random, Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. All I know about this is that it's a pretty realistic isekai with a kind of survival plot. But that's all I really know about it. I've never heard of it before until I actually sort of picked it. And hopefully it's pretty good. It is pretty well liked. Then we have Charlotte. Now, I found out about this anime because it has a tenuous link to Angel Beats, which I've obviously watched previously. And apparently, it turns out that the only link to Angel Beats it has is because there's a reference to Angel Beats in Charlotte. But from what I know about it, it's about this high school kid who has powers that nobody knows about, and then he meets a girl that exposes the fact he's got powers. That's what I remember from the synopsis. I don't know what it's going to be like, but because of the link to Angel Beats, I decided to like sort of take it and give it a watch. So that's Charlotte. Lastly, we have Mob Psycho 100. Now, to be honest, Mob Psycho 100 is very popular and very well liked, very well known. In fact, if you look at quite a lot of people's top 10 anime of all time, quite a lot of the time, Mob Psycho 100 is on there. It's that well liked. I've heard very, very good things about it. It's about a guy nicknamed Mob, I believe, that if his emotional capacity goes to 100%, something really, really bad happens. So that's all I really know about it, but like it's really, really well liked, Mob Psycho 100, and I'm actually looking forward to watching it. So there you go, folks. That was changes to up next, what I completed, what I'm watching, and my up next editions. So that's it for another week. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.